자, 그럼 2월 16일 목요일 모닝 헤드라인스 뉴스캐스터 레이와 함께 시작합니다.
At least 41,000 people have died in Turkey and Syria since last week's devastating earthquakes, with the World Health Organization singling it out as the worst natural disaster in the region in 100 years.
지난주 튀르키예와 시리아 지역을 덮친 대지진의 사망자 수가 현재까지 4만 1,000명을 넘어선 가운데 세계보건기구 WHO가 이번 지진을 유럽 지역에서 발생한 100년 내 최악의 자연재해로 지목했습니다.
Beijing has announced it will resume issuing short-term visas for travelers from Korea on Saturday after Seoul lifted similar visa curbs last week, citing an improved COVID-19 situation in China.
중국이 오는 토요일부터 한국인 여행객에 대한 단기 비자 발급을 재개한다고 발표했습니다. 이는 한국 정부가 유사한 비자 중단 조치를 중국 내 코로나19 상황이 개선됐음을 이유로 해제한 데 따른 것으로 보입니다.
The Financial Supervisory Service will look into ways to induce perfect competition in Korea's banking industry, aiming to break up the current oligopoly dominated by the nation's top 5 commercial lenders.
금융감독원이 현재 지속 중인 5대 시중은행 중심의 과점 체제를 깨는 것을 목표로 은행업계의 완전 경쟁을 유도하는 다양한 방안을 검토하기로 했습니다.
The European Parliament has approved a ban on new sales of carbon-emitting petrol and diesel cars in the EU from 2035, aiming to speed up the switch to electric vehicles and combat climate change.
유럽의회가 2035년부터 유럽연합 내에서 휘발유와 디젤을 사용하는 탄소 배출 자동차의 판매를 금지하는 법안을 통과시켰습니다. 이로써 전기차로의 전환을 가속화하고 기후변화에 맞서겠다는 포부입니다.
The U.S. Congress has introduced legislation to posthumously honor Dr. Li Wenliang, the whistleblower who was among the first to alert the world about COVID-19 and award him with the Congress's highest civilian award.
미국 의회가 코로나19 사태를 세계에 알린 최초의 내부 고발자 중 한 명인 중국의 의사 리원량에게 의회가 수여하는 최고 훈장인 의회 골드 메달을 추서하는 법안을 발의했습니다. And those are our headlines.
Morning Headline Expressions.
Let's have a look at the key expressions from the headlines. To single out something means...
Single out means to choose it. And it can be a thing or a person from a group, and then you name that person and you make them stand out. If you see single, you're always going to know it's one. If a person says they're single, it means they don't have a partner. Or you said in Korean, people will say solo. In English, it's single. Bands, musicians, they will put out singles. Opposed to a whole album, they'll just release one track. And it's usually going to be on a future album, but they release that one as a single. You might hear the phrase a hit single.
A hit single, yeah, that's right. 싱글, 우리 앨범 얘기할 때도 싱글 들어가죠. 한 곡을 가지고 앨범 냈을 때. 그다음에 이제 혼자일 때 뭐 연인이 없으면은 I'm single 할 수도 있고요. 근데 single out라는 동사를 썼을 때는요. 하나를 콕 집어서 지목하는 겁니다. All right, the next expression was to resume issuing short-term visas.
Issuing is just a word they use for giving, right? We just always say to issue visas.
It's quite formal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite formal. It kind of goes together, right? Where where will my visa be issued? That kind of thing.
Instead of saying get a visa,
it just
issue a visa.
Yeah, it just kind of goes together. And to resume something is to restart some activity. You were doing it. For some reason, you had to temporarily pause it, put it on hold, restart it, you've resumed.
Resume. 다시 시작하는 게 resume이고 issue a visa가 비자를 발급받는 거니까요. Resume issuing short-term visas는 단기 비자 발급을 재개하는 것으로 해석하면 되겠습니다. The next expression is to induce something.
To induce something, to cause it to happen. My example was some medications can induce drowsiness or sleepiness. They can cause you to become that.
Yeah, exactly. 약에 따라서는 졸리는 약이 있죠. 그럴 때 this medicine can induce, it can cause drowsiness. drowsiness는 이게 약간 졸린 거고요. sleepiness is similar, but I think maybe sleepiness is more than drowsiness.
Yeah,
It's similar,
exactly,
though.
exactly.
Yeah.
Drowsy, you're just going to feel tired maybe, but sleepy, you might actually
fall asleep.
and you might not be able to control it.
네, 둘 다 induce를 써서 표현할 수 있습니다. The next expression is petrol and diesel cars.
Yeah, petrol, is just another word for gasoline. It's what they'll say in the UK and Australia.
So in the UK, you'll have petrol stations,
Right.
not gas stations.
Right, whereas in North America,
Yeah.
you go to the gas station.
Yes. So the first time I went to America and they said they had gas stations, I thought they were selling air.
Oh.
Like gas,
Okay.
not gasoline. I didn't know
Right,
it was
right.
short for gasoline. I thought, it's very strange.
Why?
Yeah, and why are you putting air in cars? But no, I was wrong. So
Right.
petrol.
Petrol.
네, 휘발유를 영국에서 petrol이라고 하고요. 그다음에 미국에서는 gas라고 하죠. gasoline 줄여서. 그다음 마지막 표현은요. posthumously.
Posthumously is after someone's died. So it's when you say they posthumously receive an award, usually it's that.
Yeah.
So it's an adverb in that case, meaning they were given it after they'd died.
And the pronunciation is a
Not
little
easy,
bit
yeah?
difficult,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, it's not
Posthumously.
exactly.
Or a posthumous award, then it's an adjective.
네, 이 발음할 때 posthumous 가운데 쭉 이런 사운드가 들어갑니다. posthumously 이렇게 발음하시면 되겠습니다. 사후에라는 뜻이죠. Alright, well those were our expressions from the headlines. Morning Headline Expressions는 오디오와 학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다.